On Capitol Hill, the House is still on recess for another week, but in the Senate, the race is on. Lawmakers are in for a weeks-long summer sprint with some of their biggest priorities hanging in the balance. Capitol Hill correspondent Erik Rosales reports. Erik?
Oh, that's right, Tracy. You know, the Democratic-led Senate has some work ahead of them. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has two priorities that he wants to do: an infrastructure bill and a voting rights bill. You may recall that voting rights bill passed the House last month and since then has been in the Senate graveyard. In a Dear Colleague letter late last week, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer put lawmakers on notice that they could be working long nights, weekends, and potentially have a shorter August recess. The Democrat from New York states, quote, "My intention for this work period is for the Senate to consider both the bipartisan infrastructure legislation and a budget resolution with reconciliation instructions, which is the first step for passing legislation through the reconciliation process," similar to what he said on the Senate floor last month.
The bottom line is both tracks need to make progress concurrently. This is about building a foundation for the United States to remain the world economic leader in the 21st century.
You may recall a bipartisan group of more than 20 senators are still working to turn their bipartisan infrastructure framework into passable legislation. The bill would spend $1.2 trillion over 8 years on true infrastructure, like highways, bridges, waterways, and broadband. Senate GOP Leader Mitch McConnell hasn't said if he will support the bipartisan plan, saying in Kentucky last week that he believes it, quote, needs to be credibly paid for. Meanwhile, Democrats are under growing pressure to find a way to come up with a voting rights bill. House Democrats were able to put up 50 votes last month to advance the For the People Act to the Senate. This week, a Senate Judiciary subcommittee is expected to hold a hearing on the act. Senator Schumer stated in his letter that he reserves the right as Majority Leader to bring the For the People Act back up for a vote. But Senate Republicans have spoken out against it for months.
It is all about consolidating power in Washington, D.C. This is a power grab for D.C. politicians and bureaucrats.
And pro-life lawmakers up here on Capitol Hill are upset with President Biden's budget proposal because he stripped out the Hyde Amendment and other provisions that prevent your taxpayers from paying for abortions. The Susan B. Anthony list, the pro-life group, says they put out a statement. They say Democrats are, quote, doubling down on extremism to appease the increasingly radical basis. At the Capitol, Erik Rosales, EWTN News Nightly.